Well, oftentimes we have heard about people saying better late than never. So here tonight in this talk show, we are so fortunate and honored to have amongst us here one beautiful lady with a generous and a kind heart, who is also friendly by nature, who cracked the APSC examination in the year 2018. So we are going to have a talk show with her tonight. But before we start the talk show, if you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe it right now and click on the notification bell so that you will get the latest videos updates.
First of all, I would like to thank Balzar for having me. My name is SARI LUNGTAU, and my father's name is late LALRUOTKIM, and my mother is LUNGTAU, and I am 2016 batch of Assam Public Service Commission, and the whole examination process took 2 years, and the result came out in November 16, 2018.
Well, thank you so much, and it's good to have you in the talk show tonight.
The pleasure is all mine.
Okay, so here I have a few questions to ask our Madam SARI. So ma'am, are we good to go right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well then, let's start it. So the first question for you is, when and what inspired you to appear for civil service, or why did you choose a civil service?
When I think it was like way back in 2014, frankly speaking, I was never so much interested in civil services. I was like into the teaching profession like 10 years ago, but then one of my friends, he introduced me to this kind of examination, and from there onwards I started having interest. And I think this is, for me, this is a platform to reach out to the larger masses, and I am very much concerned about the educational system in our state and in our country too, because I strongly believe that education is one of the strongest tools that can transform our lives. So this, I think this has inspired me to take up this civil services examination.
Well, thank you so much. And the next question is, when did you start preparing for the exam, and when should a person ideally start preparation for the civil service exam?
As I've mentioned earlier, in 2014 I appeared in this SES examination for the first time, and with the blessing of the Lord, I cracked the preliminary exam that year. But unfortunately, I was very sick that time, and I could not appear for the mains exam. And then in 2016 I appeared for the preliminary exam, and I cracked the preliminary exam, and I consulted my mother and even my sister, and it was our joint decision that I should like proceed ahead. So that is how I started this examination, and that is also the time when I started preparing for this examination. I was a teacher before, so it was very difficult from my side to like take out time to study. But then I think teaching has helped me a lot, and I have benefited a lot from teaching. I think one should start preparing for this kind of examination from high school days, because this kind of competitive exams are the extension of what we have already learned in our high school days, higher secondary days. So I think one should prepare from the high school days.
Well, that's very impressive and a good advice from our ma'am. So we would like to take a short break. So if you guys are interested in this civil service and all, you make sure that you watch this talk show from the beginning till the end, right?
Yeah, sure.
You are going to get so many benefits. So we would like to move with the next question. How many hours did you put in for your preparation every day? Is having a fixed schedule of weekly targets important according to you?
Yeah, I think that's very important. That is an ideal thing to do. But as I have mentioned earlier, I was a teacher, so I don't count the hours I studied, but yes, I make a point that I study every day. Otherwise, you cannot cover up the syllabus, and you have to update yourself with what is happening around, and also the optional subjects that you have choose. I make a point that I study every day, but I never counted the hours.
Well, studying every day, it's really a very hard thing.
Yeah.
Even myself, I've experienced as a student. So well, that's very good said. And what were the easiest and the toughest part of your preparation?
Okay, I think the toughest part is I was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I cannot keep late nights, but whenever I have free time, I make sure that I study, I read books. And the easiest, I think, there was nothing easy because you have to focus, you have to like work hard. So I think the toughest point was that I was like not very healthy during my preparation days. I often get sick and I could not keep late nights. That was the toughest part, I think.
Well, thank you so much. Well, to crack this type of civil service and all, it really needs one's determination, hard working as well. And you have just mentioned that you studied every day, so you maintain that consistency in your study level. So that's very challenging. So we would also like to know that how did you develop that interest in reading and writing?
Okay, since I was young, I was very much interested in reading. Before, like when we get admission early in the academic sessions, and when I got new textbook, I used to open and read, especially the English textbooks. They have stories, nice stories. I developed the habit of reading since I was young, and I'm very much interested in reading magazines and also like Tinkle Digest, and I love reading biography and sometimes novels, but not Mills and Boons. And writing, I think especially during the year 2013, between 2013 and 2016, I got the habit of writing. I used to write out my thoughts. I used to have this diary and books where I wrote my thoughts and my feelings, and I think my diary were like my closest friends during that time, because I was very sick in 2013 and 14. For 2 months I think I was like bedridden. I could not go out or mingle with friends. So that was the time when I started writing, and like I used to read the Bible and the testimony I got through the words of the Bible. I used to write out in that diary. So that was the time I think I started developing the habit of writing.
Well, thank you so much. And you know, when you mentioned about writing diary and all personal diary, I've tried so many times myself, but till today, so far, I have never succeeded. I think I've continued maximum 3 to 4 days, but I just leave it again without continuing. Well, that's very impressive. And we would like to know your favorite subject during your high school days.
My favorite subject, I think English, because my English teacher was she was very fluent in English, and her diction, and I used to be like very inspired. So my favorite subject during my high school days was English, because it got great stories, and then also I love social science. That they are the two.
Okay, well, thank you. And you know, whenever we talk about someone's achievement, we only heard about their achievements or the things which they achieved, and we are happy for that. But we barely give importance to the struggle or the challenges which they face during their preparation or their journey to achieve their aim. So same to that, even you yourself, you might have such type of challenges or difficulties you have faced from a student to this civil servant. So can you please tell us in brief about your journey?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, my father died when I was just 3 years old, and my sister was just a small baby, an infant baby, and life was never the same again. And my mother used to really work hard, and my mother had to do everything, right from combing our hair, fixing our buttons, to make a living and make a home. My mother is a homemaker, and my father was in the army, so we used to get in the retirement pension, but it was so less it could not meet our needs, and my mother used to really work hard. She used to stitch clothes and weave clothes, and also she can knit sweater by machines, and that is how she has like maintained, and she really worked hard to give us the best. And even though I was very young then, I started sensing the pain and the difficulties my mother faced. During that time I couldn't understand much, but growing up I now realize that it would have been really difficult for my mother because she has to do everything. And during our school days, we were financially very low, and we were living below poverty line life. So being an elder sister, I make lots of sacrifices too. It was really tough while growing up, but today when I just look back at life, I thank God for blessing me with this life, because maybe those difficult situations and difficult times had made me a tougher person, and today I feel like I'm very rich, what to say, very rich in terms of like I had the ability to understand people more, and I'm more patient. I am like more sympathetic. I think maybe God had prepared me since a long time back for this day. I started my education in Nazareth Model High School, and when I was in a 7th standard, I got a sponsorship from Partnership Mission Society, and I had to switch my school in the middle of the academic session, and I joined PMS High School in September, and I used to like, it was so awkward and embarrassing. I remember my friends used to like tease me, why did you come here in the middle of the year, but the headmaster insisted that I should join that PMS High School in September. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the World Vision and Partnership Mission Society for sponsoring my education during my primary school days and my high school days. A big thank you to both the organization. And I passed my matriculation from that school, and I did my higher secondary till master in government, Haflong Government College. And during my, after completing my higher secondary, I took up a job of teaching in a private school in Partnership Mission Society itself. And by serving in that private school, I completed my BA and MA. So it was quite difficult for me to maintain like your profession and then your studies. But I used to like think now, how do I maintain time and all of that, because that time I was very much active in the church work. I was like an active member of choir, and then the society works, and then my education, and then my my profession. I was a teacher during that time, but then God has helped me a lot. He has been my strength all along throughout my journey. I think he is so wonderful. He is my strength all along. That's it.
So well, that means you have completed your nursery to masters here in Haflong itself.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very hard to think story. And guys, I just want to make one small comment, a remarkable comment on the life of our Madam SARI, that in spite of so much difficulties, troubles, so many ups and downs in life, she could manage to crack the APSC exam. So it's really very encouraging, and I should say today that, and let's all say today, she is the real hero and of Dima Hasau, yes. So it's really hard to think, and we should not forget that your mother, a grand salute to her, who really supports you. And we can't deny that it's all because of the blessing from the Almighty God that you have become here today. So we would like to proceed to the next question. How did you feel to be a civil servant, and what changes have occurred in your life after getting such a designation?
Yeah, I think so many things have changed, but the change is in a positive way, and that is really nice. They said with power comes responsibility. Once you are an SES officer, you got so many responsibilities. The job is very tiring, very hectic, but at the end of the day, when you do something for the people, for the nation, for the society, there is satisfaction in our heart, and that I think is really, really beautiful. You know, we got the opportunity of going to the field, interact with people, and then sometimes you got the opportunity of helping people in need, and that I think is the beauty side of being a civil servant. It's hectic, but it's adventurous. I love it. I really love it.
Well, thank you, and I should say that I want you to keep that spirit of patriotism and the love of the people, even in your future journey. We wish to have more talks with you. We would like to have more questions with you, but the time don't permit us. As well, here we have come to the last part of the question. Your life, which have already become so inspiring and motivating, but for the last, what would be your message for a student or a civil service aspirants who are preparing or planning to appear for the civil service exam?
I think it's very important that we know what we want in life, and then set a goal and then work on it. And I think we should work hard, because unless we work hard, it is not possible to achieve our goal. And we cannot expect life to give us only good times. So when there are like difficulties, adversities and problems in our lives, we should not give up or quit, because we all know that quitters never win. We might fall, but that should not be the end. We should we should stand up and then, you know, fight for it. We should continue working towards our goal, and that I think is very much important. And I still remember when I was young, when I was in my high school days, one of my teachers told me that I should not study just to pass the examination. I should study for my life. And I think that one should, you know, whatever we study in school, we should know the application in our daily life, and that I think is very much important. We should not just study to pass the examination. We have to study for our life, and that I think is very much important. And even if we faced adversity or difficulties in our life, we should not be like disappointed or disheartened. In fact, we should use them as a tool to like transform our lives in a positive way. And to all the civil services aspirants, I want that we should know what the exam requires, and then make a routine, study every day. I think these are very much important. And then if you really worked hard, then nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams and your goal. And most importantly, I think to have faith in God is very much important. I strongly believe in the power of prayers, and that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much once again.
And I feel very fortunate and that I am able to have like a conversation with you. I used to follow your YouTube channel,
Yeah, right.
and thank you so much for having me.
Okay, it is indeed my pleasure, and
The
it's
pleasure's all mine.
and it's a blessing for me, and I hope even for all the viewers of this talk show. So
Oh.
it's really very encouraging and impressive, and all those good words you have shared with us, they are worth very important. It's really meaningful. So I hope you guys love the talk show, and thank you really. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining us in this talk show from the beginning till the end. And this time I'm not going to beg you or ask you to give me a thumbs up, because I feel that, and I hope you feel too, that our Madam Sari, she really deserves a thumbs up. So click the thumbs up button for her and do share this video. Thank you, and kan lom cheo, and time to say TalksTV. Yes.